No, I didn't check to see if that was working. Let's make sure it's working. Do I have my audio? Yes, I have my audio. I've got my audio. I've got my audio. Uh-huh. 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 What? Woo! We've got the audio. Mm-hmm. We're doing good today. Here we are, ready for a live stream. Hello, Wilbur. How are you today? Woo! Okay. So, who's ready for some fun action here? It's gonna be exciting. Another fun, exciting live stream today. Yay! Live stream. Woohoo! Do. Charge! Anybody home? Who's around? Hey, I'm here. Hi. We're going Egyptian today. Uh-huh. Alright, GLG, welcome. Good to see ya. Alright. Woohoo! Welcome. Very, very good to have you here. I will say that on the chat too. Welcome. Yay. Haha. Okay. So I've got a crazy setup today. I'm going to be talking, I've been doing like a little bit of experimenting with Google Ads recently, which is why this one's going to be primarily about that. I got a few other things I want to talk about as well. But yeah, that's the main thing I'm going to be covering today. And hopefully, you'll get something out of it. If anything, you can learn a little bit about Google Ads and maybe eventually it's something you can use. I sure hope so. Other than that, you're here with me and hopefully that'll be fun. Way! Ha 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 ha. So, yeah, for the last 2 months now, I've started doing ads in a variety of different ones, but there's a lot of different ways you can do ads on Google Ads, and that's probably the hardest thing about it is definitely complex in that it gives you lots of different options and things you can do. So you have to be ready for a bit of a learning curve with it, all right? Because it'll make your eyes go if you're not ready. So you definitely have to be ready to do some video watching of tutorials or, reading some source material or different things. Or hopefully just watching this live will help you out because I'm going to be going through it myself here. But I got it all set up here to take you through some of my analytics and what it's done for me, and then also just go through some of the campaigns I'm currently running and what's happening with them, to just let you know some of the things that are tricky with it and some of the things that you can expect to deal with when you're doing these kind of ads. And I'm coming at it from a different kind of creator's perspective. Now, there's lots of different channels out there that in a lot of these tutorial videos you'll see talk more about how it's like, the tea's here. Yay. It's hot. Gotta set the tea down.
Excuse me, everyone.
Tea's here. Woohoo. Excellent. I am glad the tea is in the house. So, yes, anyways, where I was at was that there's most of the video tutorials that are out there talk about doing Google Ads from the perspective of people who are trying to sell you something, okay? So, and that's what I found like most of the time, like 95%, maybe even more of the tutorials out there are all about people who are like, hey, I got something to sell you. Why don't you click on this now? And so like a lot of the ads you see before a video or during a video are like, oh, click on this now and to come see this, oh, have you heard about this thing now? And I can actually bring some up for you if you want. But to say, it's all those ads you see are done primarily through Google Ads. Okay. There's also another one called Sprizzy, which runs through Google Ads, but apparently it's a little bit more user friendly. I haven't tried that one yet, so I'm not going to talk about it. But just so you know, it's out there. Woohoo! Okay. And where's my live chat? I'll make sure I'm not missing anything. Hey, Frank Goodman's in the house. Good to see ya. Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Good to see ya. So, I'm just going to plow along. Everybody is slow to arrive today for some reason. It happens some days. But we'll just plow along so the people who are watching this after this is already run can just get to the good stuff. First things first, let's talk about this. Put it over here since there's more space. This is a book about garlic. Yeah, garlic book. And one of my best friends from Alaska, she said, "Hey, why don't you do the history of garlic?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds cool." And I basically have one of those great moments where I started looking at it, and then I kind of just did this. I should have did this for one of my first videos, because there is so much cool information about garlic. I mean, oh my gosh. The one thing that got me just in a tizzy was going, oh my gosh, this is one of the greatest herbal myths in history, is the fact about garlic and vampires. I mean, come on! How much cooler can you get than that? Garlic and vampires, man! It's one of the preeminent myths of all time when it comes to herbs. And I haven't covered it yet, and there's tons of information about it in here, so I am actually going to be doing several different mythology videos on garlic now. It's going to be crazy because this thing is loaded with information, and I found some other stuff elsewhere as well. And man, let me tell you, garlic is crazy. And all the myths surrounding garlic and vampires or other mythical creatures is just really cool. So I'm just going to do one video on vampires and garlic by itself, because there's enough information just to do one video right there, baby. And it's going to be so cool, okay? Yeah. Oh, we got here. We got, hi, Saval, I'm not sure, Ursler? I think the umlaut is not supposed to say Ursler, something like that. Hopefully I'm saying that pretty close. And then, yes, I am live, Frank. V.Honey, good to see you. Woohoo. Yes, garlic cure-all, that as well. And, you hear it's poison. Oh, well, yes, there's definitely that myth out there as well that I'll be covering. So, Husky and Wolf Dog, good to see you. Woohoo! So yeah, there's tons of stuff, and I'm just so excited I got this. That's going to be my first garlic video, as I'm going to be digging into the vampires, baby, because it is so much fun. And it is the one myth that I'm just I literally went, oh my god, this should have been the first myth I covered, because it's so cool. And now I'm just totally jazzed and excited about covering this one very soon. Yeah, it can be a fun. It is. I'm going to release it next month. It'll be perfect timing for Halloween. So this is going to be awesome. But anyways, that's one of the cool things. The other cool thing for those who haven't heard yet is I am moving. It is official. We have signed the paperwork. We've paid the money. And we are out of here as of the middle of next month. So, yes, I will be doing live streams from a different location very soon. Oh, yeah, that's good. I need me some dark black tea today. Keep me awake and going for you here. I've actually been up and down since 2 a.m. today. And it's now 5:30 my time. And that's because I was doing some medical role plays, phone calls. And basically do an hour of phone calls, take an hour nap, do some more phone calls, take another hour nap. So I'm a little bit loopy today. Loopy because of that, and loopy because of the vampires and the garlic. So hopefully I'm not looking too crazy right now. Oh yeah, but thank you for the congratulations. Yes, we're very, very excited. We've been looking forward to this for a long time, and we've actually been searching for quite a few months now. And we kept telling ourselves like, don't rush it, even though the market is very crazy over here right now, where most of the places that we're looking in one of the towns nearby, Woking, they were like, we would look at a place, and at one place we looked at, that we actually went in there and they were like, yeah, we already got 3 offers on this place, so you should kind of let us know before you even walk out the door if you want it or not. And we're like, what? Are you kidding me? We like to like think about these things and think about the pros and cons and and actually think it all out. And then we're just like, we're not even out the door and you're telling us we have to give you an offer? Ah! So yeah, we ran into a couple of those situations and it was just like, wow, that is psycho. But cats and wild birds don't mix. Well, we're gonna try and find a nice house cat who doesn't go around the wild birds. So we're gonna do our research on that as well to try and find a non-birding cat. So yes, that is very true though. So a lot of cats and birds don't mix. Some are okay, but yeah, I'm gonna do my best to keep those two worlds apart because I love my birds and I love the cats, and we are definitely getting a cat. So, is the napping part filmed? Thank you, V. Honey. Yeah, that could be a live stream. People do that. I probably could have like streamed that where it's like, here, this is me doing calls. This is me sleeping. This is me doing calls, streaming. That could have been like my 8-hour live stream where it's like, just watch me make calls and sleep. Crazy, but some people watch that. I don't know why. I try and talk about relevant topics that hopefully can help you out. So okay, that's our move that's going to be happening next month, and I'm sure I'll be talking about that a lot coming up here as we get moving. And then I'll do a little bit of a house tour probably to show you what I'm planning on doing with the garden and other areas to set up some plants. So it's going to be very exciting in that sense. But yeah, for now, I'm going to put the garlic aside and I'm going to bring on the views here. So let me start to the main page here. Where do we start here? Let's just start at the beginning here. So with Google Ads, what you have to do is sorry, Kitty. Sorry, I'm looking at the comments again. What you have to do actually is set up your own Google account on there first. So you go to Google Ads, and I'm gonna bring this up here so you can see, and I'll show this to you here real quick. Let me bring it on. Here we go. So you're gonna go to Google Ads, and then you'll just like click on the Google Ads online advertising, and what you do is it'll end up having you sign up for an account here by saying sign in or start now, and then you can start your own Google Ads account and then what you do is you create it using one of your Gmail account, and then from there you will actually connect your YouTube channel to it. Okay, and so mine's already connected, so it automatically just logs me in and goes, here it is. So in your settings, you just go to linked accounts up there in settings, and should say, yeah, YouTube down here. And so as you can see, it already has it connected. You would just hit the plus to add a different channel, and then you can add a channel in there. So if you're wanting to add in your YouTube channel, this is how you go about doing it. Okay, so this is just the very basics of Google Ads. I'm not going to take too long on this. There's lots of tutorials about this stuff out there that you can check out, but this is just a rough engaging of it, okay? So let's get back to the Google Ads themselves and the campaigns. As you can see here, I'm running lots of campaigns at the moment. Some of them doing some stuff, some of them like on zero. And I'll tell you what's happening by why some of them are on lots and why some of them are on zero. And it's kind of odd, some of the reasons this is happening. So what you do when you go to set up a campaign is either if you're in here already, you can just hit plus and you can say new campaign or load campaign settings, which means you can just take one of these ones and add those campaign settings into the next ad. So if I hit this, it's going to automatically take the settings from that one and load them in here. And so I have a video campaign going, okay? So if I want to go and start a new one instead, then I'll just go in here and say new campaign. And then you can do all these different types of campaigns. And here's where it starts to get a bit confusing for people, all right? You guys confused already, or you following? Am I going too fast? Are you guys getting this? Is it cool? Making sure I'm not losing any of you guys. Just let me know in the comments if you're like, okay, I get it. It's cool. So, like I said, there's lots of tutorial videos out there for people who like doing sales and leads and driving website traffic or doing brand consideration. All of these things here. There's tons of different campaigns out there for that. There's not much out there when it comes to this, doing specific ones. So, and this is what I have been doing, is very specific ones. Now, you can actually run like a ad that's just a general channel ad, or just an advertising ad if you create one to say, hey, come watch my channel, subscribe to my channel. But all I've been doing is straight video campaigns. So what I mean by that is these are all video campaigns of my own videos, okay? So I will take a video and then I'll just advertise it to specific locations. And it's different for each one, so I'll take you into some of those specifics because it'll take you into a lot of the glitches and hard things that'll come up with this stuff. So, all right. Excuse me. So once you hit create a campaign without a goals guidance, the official name of it, I hit video to go into create a video campaign. And if I'm trying to create a video campaign for just a video like I'm doing right now, I see you guys making comments, but they're not showing up on my phone for some reason. What were you guys saying here? Cool. Have to go. Nice. Thank you so much for dropping by, Husky and Wolf Dog. Okay, so yes, anyways, if you're trying to do a video campaign specifically, then you have to run a discovery ad, because if you're trying to run the others, it's just not going to sell it properly. You can do display ads, which, let's see if I can bring one up here. Display ads essentially, let's just play something. Here we go. Let's see if she has these on here. Yeah, so like a display ad is maybe something like this, where at the beginning of the video, it just shows you the stuff at the beginning. This is actually a discovery ad here at the beginning of this video as well. But then you have these pop-up things like this. These can also just display ads where say, hey, just trade for less at this place, start now, and you click on that and it takes you to their website. So it's a display ad as well. So if you're just doing a video ad, you have to do one like this, of this video that's actually playing. And I run mine so they don't run like this before or after videos. I run mine as a discovery ad, which is slightly different, okay? So I'm going to get rid of that. And so what I do is a custom video campaign, because these other ones, like the non-skippable in-stream, is what you just watched. So you have those in-stream ads that come up, and there's those ones you can skip and there's ones you can't skip. So you have non-skippable ones. So that's this one here where you have to watch it. And hello, Treasured Home, good to see you. Thank you. In the Garden and Blessings, good to see you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. Yay! So I'm talking about Google Ads, in case you missed it. But right now, I'm talking about how to set up a video ad campaign. And you have the Outstream ones, which reach people more on their phones and tablets and stuff. And all these different ones are just different types they're more based around shopping, more based around if you're selling products. If all I'm doing is trying to get people to watch my video and raise my views and raise my likes or raise my subscribers because of it as well, then I have to just run a custom video campaign, because that's the only way I can do a skippable in-stream ad or just do a video discovery ad, which is what I want to do. So then I say continue, and then it gives me, you have to name your campaign up here. I'm not going to do some of this stuff because you can also watch tutorials on that as well. But I'm just going to go over some of the basics of this before I get into the nitty gritty, which is the important part, right? But since we're here, let's just talk about some of the basics. Okay. So on a video campaign, you can only run maximum CPV or target CPM. Okay. Target CPM is the cost per 1,000 impressions. So the impressions, every time they show it out to somebody, is an impression, and then so you pay for your number of impressions on that particular bidding strategy. And I haven't actually tried that one yet. That's the thing. I am going to try that one next, but I have been doing nothing but maximum CPV, which is cost per view. And this one gets really difficult because they suggest that you have to actually raise the CPV in order to get your ad to show up certain places, okay? And I've noticed that like when I go into the keyword planner over here. So if I go into keyword planner and say I'm like wanting to like promote the history of lavender, and I just type in lavender, okay? And I say get results. It's going to show me a bunch of keywords related to lavender. So a lot of people do monthly searches on lavender. You see 60,500 searches here. But the more important thing when you're talking about the ads is this over here. Okay, it says top of page bid, low range, top of page bid, high range. So if I want to get my video to show up at the top of the page, they say that I'm probably going to have to pay 63 cents per view in order to make that happen, probably. Okay, so you want to try and get good keywords that are, you know, searched a lot, but also don't have as high a top of page bid range, okay? Because like these ones down here are at your more of your standard bid range, where they say only have it at like 0.05 or 0.06 for your cost per view on average, all right? And so like this one is much more reasonable that it says low bid range is just 6 cents per view. And there's lots of them down here that are around that range or much lower. That aren't very high. So like I could just do something like lavender herb, which gets a decent amount of searches, and do a low amount. But say for like my lavender essential oil video, so I'd be doing the lavender essential oils, which has lots of discovery. 27 cents is more probably what I'd be looking at. Okay, so if that, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. We all getting that? Is all good? All right. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, of course, because I'm just going to keep zipping through otherwise. All right, so back to the video campaign. So I'm on the cost per view, and then you've got two choices here in budgets and dates. So you have campaign total and you have daily. Now what I heard from pretty much everybody is if you hit campaign total, basically Google Ads is going to go, fine, you want to pay $5? Boom, 1 hour, $5, it's done. And they will just send that sucker out everywhere and waste your money. Okay, so you don't tell them campaign total, you tell them daily budget, and then you list it for whatever amount that you want to list it for. So if you want to just be safe, then you list it for a low bid range. Some people say, okay, I'll do like 5 ads at, $250 per ad per day. And this isn't to say that you're going to pay $250 per day. On a lot of the videos I've been doing, I haven't even been paying that much, and because I'm listing them at very specific targets, and so it actually hasn't even been reaching my maximum budget per day. Okay, but that it is very easy to do that, and I'll show you why coming up here shortly. Okay, but yeah, you'll just list how much you want it to run for. And then you want to put a start date and an end date because we're saying daily. So unless you just want it to keep running in ad infinitum from here until the end of time, then you're going to want to list an end date, because otherwise it will just keep running for the end of time and Google Ads will just keep taking your money, baby. They don't care. They just want the green. All right? Whether it does good or bad, doesn't matter to them. They are getting paid. All right. So here is another extremely important one that I've run into problems with already, and it's this one here, okay? The networks, extremely important to say where you're showing it. And you can do it here, as you can see, under YouTube search results, or just on YouTube videos. So what that means is if someone just does a search for lavender, and I've added lavender to my keywords or in the various phrases, then hopefully at the top of those searches, they will see my ad first before they see the other search results, okay? So that should be what happens. So like if someone goes to YouTube and just types in here in the search, lavender, not lavender, lavender, then at the top here you'll see suggested products. So there's an ad already right there. And other times you'll see some other ads up here before you actually get to the actual #1 suggestion for that, all right? So if you want it to show up #1 for lavender, or show up for lavender again, you're going to have a higher cost per view on there, and you're also going to have to make sure that you list lavender in your keywords, which is coming up. But yeah, down here, yeah, I'm not listening for lavender because I'm not there yet. But anyway, yeah, that just gives you the idea of that. Let's go back here. So that's for the search results. And then YouTube videos means they can play it anywhere on a YouTube video that's playing. So like at the end screen of that, when they say they'll show those suggested video cubes, or they can show it on just someone's channel page when they show all those suggested videos, they can show it there as well. Or just on the basic homepage, when I click on here and I say just YouTube, click on the homepage, all these videos in here, these ads here you see, it could be showing up in here as well. We got this Rocket League stuff playing right now. So yeah, it can be going up in there as well. So this obviously is just a discovery ad that be running right there, okay? So the other important one is the Video Partners on Display Network. And if you want to waste your money in a big fat hurry, leave that clicked on. Otherwise, turn it off. Because one of the big things I ran into already was that here. So you see here with my top 15 herbs for anxiety, I've got 26,000 impressions, 600 plus 191 views with a pretty low cost per view rate. But they basically, that's the reason I've got this whole thing up here saying, raise your budgets because we've already spent your money. Well, the reason they spent my money on this video was because somehow that button was accidentally clicked on, and I normally have it always clicked off. And I called them up and I said, hey, what's going wrong with this video? I actually called them and said, hey, what's going on with this? Hey, Food Forest Permaculture, good to see ya. So I actually called Google Ads and said, what the heck is going on with this video? And they said, then they took me back through the settings and said, oh, the Video Partners on Display Network was clicked on. And so they just basically splashed it out there to the world, to a bunch of unrelevant sources, to a bunch of people who would either accidentally click on it or, clicked on it for a lark and then would just click off on it within 30 seconds and just ruin your watch time and just ruin all of and waste all your money. And the whole point, if you're just running a very specific video ad, is to try and get to a very specific community that wants to watch your video. Yes, you can also run it to a broader spectrum that hopefully you will find some new people. But in that sense, you're just, more throwing, rocks in the pond and hoping the ripples catch the right fish to draw towards you, Otherwise, yeah, so it's very, very broad spectrum and a big waste otherwise. So yeah, I just keep that turned off as much as possible so it doesn't waste my money, and just use these two only. If you want, you can't even be more specific and say, hey, I only want to play it on the YouTube videos, or I only want it to show up on search results. So I'm going to do most of my campaign is going to be based around keywords or around specific videos. So whenever people search for that particular topic, my video is going to show up first. All right. Next thing is locations. And basically, if you're doing an English language video like I am, then you just list, you can just say, okay, just either my home country or just a couple English language countries like I have here. So I have four of the primary English language speaking countries: Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, and United States listed. You can also just, go in and add, pretty much every other English-speaking country if you want, and go, okay, I'm going to add Norway and Sweden and Finland and Iceland and and just, go into lots of others if you want to. But the more you start doing that, the more you run into the problem, unless you have good subtitles on, that you're going to run into a lot of other languages that may not be as connected to your video as the people who actually speak that language. So, you may still actually be able to get engagement with it, but I haven't played around with that too much yet myself, okay? And that's why also in languages, I just have English listed and nothing else, all right? Nothing but the English. Okay, next thing is the content exclusions. Now, they recommend saying standard inventory or expanded. Now, I've been doing expanded off of the suggestion of someone, some tutorials that I watched, but I've actually been thinking of doing it more around standard lately because I'm not sure that it's actually helping me doing it on a wider available, showing it on some sensitive content, because my videos are not that kind of brand at all. I do have very clean cut videos for the most part. I maybe say, one mildly PG-13 term every now and then, but for the most part, I have pretty clean material. And, barring Persephone beating up Mintha in the mythology of Mint. If you haven't seen that, please do. It's a fun video. But that's an actual fun sidebar real quick. I tried to run a Google ad for the mythology of Mint, and they wouldn't let me do it because they said there were depictions of violence in it. Okay? And that's just because, and I'm watching through my video again and going, why? Is it just because of this cartoon video segment of me showing Mintha pummeling, Persephone pummeling Mintha into dust? I'm like going, you're kidding me? That is why you're saying you're not going to do a Google ad for my video? There's no blood. There's no crazy stuff. There's no swearing. It's just that. I'm like, are you really? I was floored. I'm like going, you got to be kidding me. You're not going to, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, I thought that was insane. So, but yeah, this is just, depending on the territories you want to show it. So obviously you could do a limited one as well if you want to just make sure it's going on even more specific territory. And it shows you the more the specifics of examples here, where it's like even less sexually or profane content is what limited means primarily. So no sensitive content. It's going to be primarily just G-rated stuff here. PG-13 and all the way up to X-rated up here, probably. I don't know if YouTube probably doesn't allow X-rated, but it's the R-rated stuff on there. So, Good in the Garden of the Blessing says, no more dropping stuff on the Roadrunner either. Yeah, I know. They probably would not allow that then too, right? Because it was no different than that, Okay, so here's another one. They used to have this on here where it's like where to show your video, and right now it's like making it so. I think it's just because of the way I selected this that you're supposed to be able to exclude these, and all of these right now are now excluded automatically at the moment. So I can't even click on them for some reason. It used to be not too long ago, just last month, I actually could click on these or click off these to say, hey, make sure you don't show it on embedded videos or live streaming videos. Because if people are on a live stream, they're probably not going to want to hop off and go watch my video as much. But again, same thing here. You can actually say, hey, don't show it to the mature audience videos. And you can just go, all the way down to saying, oh, I just want it only on G videos, and that's it. Or just, or if you're shooting for the other kind, you can go, hey, I just want it on mature videos only, and do it that way, So it's just another option for showing it out to a bigger audience or smaller audience, depending on the G-ratedness or R-ratedness of your video, okay? Next is the ad group. It's basically you just add the same name in there as the top, where you would, if this was the history of lavender, I would still say history of lavender ad group. So if that's what the ad's for. I would just put the same name on both of them. Otherwise, you're going to get confused. That, or if, some people are running these technical ones are like, oh, this is ad number 01.583. This is just, that to make sense for you. But if you're running a hit, all I do is I name them the same. So on my campaigns, you have the campaign here, and then the ad group in here also has the same name. So when you go to this, it shows the exact same name. That's all it's doing. Okay. So on the main area, it says the top 15 herbs for anxiety. And on the ad group, it still says the top 15 herbs for anxiety. All right. Okay. That's all that is. Next, the demographics. Now, here's something I learned today by talking to Google Ads again. I actually got them on the live chat today wondering about this. And what they told me was you can't turn demographics off, okay? And I again ran into a problem where it started showing my video out to general places because here on my Herbs for Sleep video, again, I got lots of impressions and lots of views, but the watch time was low because they were just showing it in general places again on YouTube to people who I wasn't specifically targeting. So I'm going to get into the specific targeting here shortly because it's still coming up. But that was because of the demographics and that you can't turn them off. So if you're turning everything off except for one specific thing that you're trying to target, you have to make sure your cost per view is high enough so they are sending it to that target. Otherwise, they will send it other places and waste your money. Okay? So it's very, very tricky. You have to be very careful about where you send it out to. Hey, Roopster, good to see you, man. Hope everything's going good out there. I haven't heard from you for a while. It's good to see you. But yeah, the whole thing is that that's the whole thing about Google Ads in a nutshell is you have to be very specific about everything, okay? Oh, great information, Eric. I got a church for the rest of it. Okay, our treasured home. Nice having you here. Good to see you. We'll catch you again soon. Thanks for dropping by. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Woo! Okay, but back to demographics. What you can do, and what I do specifically for mine, is I don't necessarily worry about household income. I mean, I don't find that it helps having it on or off. And parental status, doesn't necessarily matter either. I think the more you turn them off, the more it's going to affect the impressions. And the more, as you can see right there, I just turned off both of these and the impressions over here just went down from 10 billion to 7.9 billion. And for my druthers, the whole idea is to get this number down much further because I don't want it just going, I'm just going to go, blah, 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 blah. There goes your money to 7.9 billion people and just kind of throw it out to the wind. It's kind of like just throwing flyers out the window of a plane and hoping it lands in the right hand of a person who loves herbs. I mean, come on. How is that going to happen? So yeah, you have to be very specific about your campaign. So what I've actually been doing is I've been actually still leaving these on because I don't find my video does better or worse depending on the household income or parental status. But I do turn off to 18 to 24 because I get much better engagement at the older age ranges. And so for my video ads campaigns, I've been primarily targeting 25 and up. And I actually have been thinking about turning this one off as well because I've been noticing from the ads, my engagement rate is actually much better at 45 to 65 plus. But that's, again, it's up to you. Is once you've run some of these, trial and error, you'll start figuring out what works best for your audience and your views. Okay, here's where the specific placements come into play. And it's very important for where your ad is hopefully going to show, okay? This is where you actually want your videos to show up, all right? This is the nitty-gritty of it right here. So if I want my videos just to go, okay, I'm talking herbs, so I'm just going to go home and garden. I want all of the home and garden people to see my herby videos. Please just hit this here. So you have two different versions here, as you can see. One for affinity and one for in-market. In-market and affinity. And The main difference is that, I'm going to go back to the top here. In market basically means that those are people who are already in the market or actively looking to get either purchase something from Home and Garden or get specific information for Home and Garden. But they're actively looking to probably buy something in the Home and Garden market. Like they're looking for information on how to plant something. So they're watching videos specifically on like how to make a planter, and then they'll click on an ad in order to, buy something because they watched that. The affinity ad is just general people who are interested in Home and Garden. Okay. So there is a big difference in these as to if you're like saying, okay, I don't really care about if people are interested in buying stuff from me at the moment. That's not what I'm aiming for. So I may not want to hit the in-market ads in particular. But even if that isn't the case with your channel, okay, you may still hit the in-market one as compared to the infinity one, because those people might actually be even more laser focused and engaged in wanting to connect with the videos in particular, and might be more likely to click on it and then watch it because they actually are actively seeking something from the Home and Garden market. Okay, you get the difference where the Home and Garden people are just generally interested in, hey, maybe I'll watch this, maybe I'll watch that, whereas the Home and Garden people are in market people are a little bit more like, I'm looking for something very specific. That's it. Okay, click, watch. That's the main difference, okay? Donna Grace, how you doing? Hi, guys. Thank you for still listening. I'm glad it's still going through. I am just going very specific here on Google Ads. If you ever want to use them, this is my tutorial on it. So, woohoo! Water break. All right, move along. So you can do that for all different kinds of categories here, okay? So you have cooking enthusiasts, food and dining, cooking and baking, lawn care and garden supplies, do-it-yourselfers. Essentially, all of these in one way or another could apply to my market for just talking about herbs in general. But then also you can go in here into more specifics. So you can go who they are. You can you can do specific demographics and say, okay, I want a demographic of parents of grade schoolers. So if I'm like running a video ad that's specifically based around, okay, I want to help parents find stuff for their kids in this age grade, then you click on this, and the ad should show just to people who are parents of grade schoolers and teens. And so if that is what your market that you're looking at really focusing on, that's a good tool for you right here, is just going into the demographics, who they are, and it gives you a much more specific one. So it's like, okay, I'm doing a video about single people, how to get a man, or how to get a woman. Then you go, okay, I just want to market this only to single people. Or if I'm like, how to keep your man happy, I'm going to just go with married or in a relationship. Or education. So I'm like going, okay, I'm, how to get the most out of your classes video. Then I click on that. Okay. So these are just all different, very specific things you can click on. Homeowners, renters, again, very specific. If you have a video that's, anything around those, maybe for a lot of you people out there who do these, who are like, either DIY people, these ones would come into much more effect, or people who run homesteads. This might come more into effect. But then, wrong button. Again here, the affinity one, you can go much more specific into the affinity range, where I can go banking and finance, beauty, wellness. So you can see here even more categories. I don't have to go into the general. I can go much more specific, just media and entertainment, news and politics. So again, whatever your specific topic is. But keep in mind, these are still broad topics. If I hit sport and fitness, the impressions is still over 10 billion. Okay, so we're still not very finite yet, if I'm saying that. Okay, so if I go food and dining, it might go down a little bit because it's not as broad as, nope, still 10 billion. So the more I hit some of these, the more it's probably going to start lowering the impressions because I'm getting more of a specific audience. But in the infinity ones and these in market ones, it's still very broad market stuff here. So if these broad markets are you're running a trending video that hits this broad market, then this is still a good place for you to run your ad. For me, which is a very niche channel, I don't use audiences much at all, okay? Because it does the same thing for me again, which is, okay, I'm running stuff that about herbs that is kind of home and garden, it's kind of cooking enthusiast, it's kind of food and dining, and it's kind of cooking and baking ingredients, but really, it's not specifically any of those, okay? So for my channel in particular, it's like, it's again kind of just going, here, somebody, watch this, me over here in the corner hiding among 2 million people. So it's not specific enough for me to use this category because I have a very niche channel, okay? So you just have to know your channel. If you're wanting a channel that does really broad spectrum focus on cooking enthusiasts, go for it, okay? Here's where I start getting my money, okay? Here's where I spend my money is doing keywords, very specifically on keywords, topics, or placements. And placements is where I really have been using it for the most part, okay? So first off, let's do keywords. So if I'm running a video on the history of lavender, what I'll probably do first is I'll go into keyword ideas like I showed you before. We'll jump back in here real quick. So history of lavender, I could just look up lavender and say, okay, what's the competition over here? Like I said before, okay, 32 cents isn't too bad for Lavender Farm, but Lavender Farm doesn't exactly suit my history of lavender video, right? But if I'm doing the benefits of lavender tea video, which I have for an ad, then running a lavender tea keyword for 9 cents is a darn good price. Okay, so I will go in here and go, okay, lavender tea, and add that in. Now, unlike your keywords, when you're adding them into your video itself on YouTube, so like when you go into, here we go. Let's go over here real quick. So if I go into my videos and I add my keywords and I'm going down here, when you're adding in the keywords here, you generally will like put a comma after it. So if I go lavender tea, I'll have to hit a comma and then it'll show up. But on here, on the video campaign, you just do that and you hit return and go to the next one. There's no comma or anything. You just do one per line and that's it. How you doing out West Homestead? We're talking Google Ads today. Whee! You change 10p a comment. Well, that's a good way to do it. There is stuff for that now too, where I've seen that that people do that actually. Yeah, it's an interesting way to go about it. But yeah, so if I'm doing keywords for, say, the benefits of lavender, I'd add lavender tea. I'd go back into my keywords here and go, okay, what else would appeal to lavender tea people? Maybe the lavender water one would appeal. Or I would probably look more specifically for like lavender for sleep. That one would work because it is a lavender tea benefit. Lavender for skin, that one could work as well. So you'd look for keywords that specifically relate to your video. So it probably would actually, rather than just lavender, I'd actually go in here and say lavender tea, and then I would say get results for that, because that would bring up much more specific keywords for what I need, okay? So lavender tea is obviously the best one because it has the best search results here, but there's also ones like chamomile and lavender tea, so that would still be a good one for me to run it on. Chamomile and lavender are apparently a big thing. But a lot of these other ones where it says only like 10 searches per month, you can put it in there anyways, just to see if it helps. But it's really probably not going to help too much. It's probably going to help much better if you can find ones that have bigger numbers. This one's 70 at least, so that's a little bit better. But a lot of these are much lower numbers, 50. And so they're not going to help in the keywords. 0. Why is it even on there? You want ones that have enough on here that they show you a top of page bid range to give you an idea and an estimate for how much you're going to have to spend in order to get people to watch your video, okay? So I would just add a bunch of ones in here. So lavender tea benefits would be another one I would add. Lavender tea health benefits. So I could add just a bunch of keywords like that. And you could actually go in here and you can get ideas for it. as well, and it should actually, so you could actually put the URL for your video in there, and it would give you a recommendation. So if I go back and I add my lavender tea video in there and just put the URL in there, it should give me some keyword suggestions based around that video. So here we go. Boom. There it is. And we're not showing the relevant to your business. See if that works. No. So it's not interrelated website. Okay, there it is now. All of a sudden now it's showing up. So you can see now it's showing the keyword suggestions here. Lavender plant, wholesale lavender plant. So for some reason it wasn't showing up before, but now it's showing these finally. So you can go in here and say, okay, these ones, out of these ones, what one's the best one? Water lavender, maybe. Just stuff that's very much related to that video in particular. So you want to keep it as focused as possible because you want to get this impression number down. Because the lower it is, the more focused it's going to be on a very specific community that already wants to watch your video. And that is the whole point of an ad campaign, is just showing these ads to the people who already want to see it but just don't know about it. All right? That's the whole point of running an ad, right? I mean, otherwise, why you're running it? You want people who want to see it come to your channel so they'll not only watch that video, but then watch other videos too. I mean, that is the point, right? Right? Wes says, how's Susie doing today? The horses are well. Yay! Got to hear the horses are doing good. Been around the horses all day. Ooh, yay, love the horses. Over 50 and fabulous. How you doing? Good to see you. So yeah, so that's just, again, it's another thing. That my whole point is showing you how to get the most bang for your buck right now if you're running a video ad campaign. So keywords is one way to really knock that number down. As you can see, before I added those keywords in there, I was at like 10 billion. Now I'm already down at 2.7 million impressions that I can reach. All right. So next thing you can go to is, again, specific categories like arts and entertainment, autos, beauty, finance, and so forth. So again, if you hit one of these broad spectrum ones, you can hit that. So I mean, if I wanted to, I could hit health, because lavender tea would fit that. But now all of a sudden it's saying, look at this. Campaign will get few or no impressions because your target is too narrow. So you have to be careful once you start going down that it gets to the point where it's like, we're not going to show it out at all. And that is something that's happened to me where I got a little bit too narrow on some of my videos where I set up one for it, but then you can see here, it didn't show out anywhere. No impressions and no views. Meant I didn't spend any money yet, but it just means I need to adjust the categories slightly because it's not showing out anywhere. It's not getting any impressions, and that's kind of like, well, that's pointless if I've created an ad and it's not actually showing anywhere. So yeah, it's the other thing you have to watch. That's why I watch this over here a lot, is because you want it to get low. But once it starts saying that it's not going to show out anywhere, then it's like, okay, I need to rethink exactly which things I'm hitting. All right. Okay. Now, the thing that I've been playing around with a lot lately is the placements. And this is one where two factors really come into play. One, you want to pick specific things that are already related to your videos. So you can do YouTube channels, and I'll do that a lot, where I'll do channels that are already related to my particular topic. And if I just type in lavender, it's not going to give me anything because I'm just going to get people who are named lavender for their channels. So, okay, so that's not helpful. But the herb community also tends to be really based around the homesteading community. So I could type in homestead here, and I'll get some nice big homesteading channels. So I could be like, okay, Living Traditions Homestead, big homestead. I could click on them. And what you want to do here, this is where specific research comes into play, okay? So you actually will want to look at these channels and find ones that actually, like for me in particular, I'd say, okay, I'm going to look at the homesteading people that have done videos on herbs before. So people know that they have an herb garden and know that they already like herbs. So it's much more likely I'm going to find herb lovers based around this particular homesteading channel rather than another one where maybe these homesteaders are more based around animals or more based around DIY or different things like that, okay? So for me specifically, if I'm saying I want somebody who is a homesteader and has a homesteading garden and also actually has a homesteading herb garden, then I'm going to try and find those channels in particular. So I'll be like, okay, maybe then in that case I could actually search for herbs under channels, and maybe I would actually find some channels that would show up. So there are some on here like Herb Help, but I think that's actually a Chinese channel, so that's not going to necessarily help me. But there are other ones on here. Again, you just have to research them beforehand. Mountain Rose Herbs is a good one for me because they do primarily talk about herbalism, which is obviously very much up my alley. All right. So anybody who like runs an herbalism channel and does nothing but talking about various herbs, these are good channels for me to focus on for my actual where I'm sharing it out to. Okay. So this is, like I said, where it gets more difficult here. So it's already telling me it's best to broaden my search results. But so what happens here is it comes into the next part, okay? So the bidding, your maximum cost per view. We've talked about this a little bit before, but what this does is, time for dinner, enjoy, have a good dinner. But what the cost per view is what we're talking about before when we're looking over at the specific recommendations here on the keywords, where it says top of so if I'm going to rank at the top of the page for lavender tea, I need to have a minimum of 9 cents cost per view, or if I really want to make sure I'm at the top of the page, I'll put it up to 22 cents per cost per view, okay? So I'll go back in the campaign and say, okay, I really want to make sure this is showing up. So I'm going to list it as a cost per view of 22 cents per view. And that way, when it shows it to these specific channels, I should always hopefully be the one showing up first for an ad. Okay? So that's the way to make sure, even if you're running a very specific targeted campaign, that you're always going to show up first. What it means is, yes, you're probably going to pay a little bit more per view, but it also should mean that you're getting a much higher return for that view. The problem is when you run broad spectrum campaigns that I've ran into, and that's why I had this up before, is I go into my analytics, and I'm going to go more specific here because you'll be able to tell here if I just, off of some of the ads I've run recently. So if I say custom, here's a way to see what your ads have been doing specifically. I go custom the 23rd of September to the 23rd of September. So it's just showing me ads that were run from yesterday. So I know that Mythology of Dandelions was running a very bad ad yesterday, and you can see on here, oops, click on it accidentally, that the average view duration is horrible. It's 35 seconds per view out of those 100 views that the ads ran, okay? So if I can go in here and I can see it on here as well. And again, if you go into specific, you have to actually go back in here again and say it. So it makes it a little bit tougher that you actually have to go back in here and go, no, I actually want this on this specific date. So again, it'll just show me the views from this last time. So I got 100 views and I got 1 hour of watch time out of it. So that's something, but it also means that my overall watch time for this video has been decimated temporarily. Okay, so my audience retention is still at 28%, which is okay overall, but you can see most of the people dunked out of it before the first minute even really got started. And the average view duration, super low, horrible. Doesn't have any much there on the, no subscribers were watching it. So obviously you can tell that it's all from YouTube advertising. Here you go. See, it's 97% from YouTube advertising. So you can tell that most of these views are from people that just, it went, blah, 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 blah. here people, here's my video. And they kind of went, oh, that, nah. And that's what happens, okay? So that's why I'm trying to be as specific as possible so it doesn't do stuff like this. And it doesn't matter how many impressions you have, because your click-through rate's going to get killed, your engagement rate's going to get killed, and then your video's not going to be as easily suggested by YouTube, and that's not going to be good either, okay? So having a very targeted campaign like this, even when it says it's too narrow, I think is okay. Because I think it's better to be a little bit more targeted and with a higher cost per view, and do that than going too broad. Because let me show you some of the, this is pretty much the end of it, because from here I would actually just put in my video link, okay, and it says, so down here at create your video ad, that I've added my link, and boom, my video pops up, and then I say video discovery ad, because that's what I've been running the whole time. Then down here you would just type in the information for it. So it's just type in again, benefits of lavender tea, because it's a very short headline, and you'll see it pop up here on the screen in this little area, so it can show you what it shows like on desktop as well, but you see it right here very specifically. And now it says benefits of lavender tea, and under that you can say what lavender tea is healthy. So you can just type in something that fits in. So now it says that's too long. So you only get 35 characters. So you have to be very succinct in your description. So I say, why is lavender tea healthy? Something like that. Lavender tea healthy, and that fits. So then that's allowed. And then on the second line, I'll usually just say something like, watch now, to try and draw people in. And then you'll see it all show up here. So then you can go, okay, I see specifically what it's showing to people on the desktop or on the mobile. And again, same thing down here. I would just put in the same exact ad name, benefits of lavender tea. And then from there, you can just say create campaign and let it rock. And if I let it rock off of this, all it would be showing to, hopefully, would be these specific keywords and these two specific channels, okay? So that's all the places that hopefully my ad would be showing to. The only thing that makes it partially difficult is that you still have to have these demographics on, which means that Google can show it to other places still, all right? And that's why, again, that it's a bit of a numbers game, where in order to keep Google from just willy-nilly showing it everywhere, as much as you want to have a very low cost per view, you have to raise it up a little bit, especially if you're running a specific campaign, to make sure that it's showing it to just the people you want it to be shown to. Otherwise, Google will still try and show it to just general demographics, and again, it ruins your numbers. All right? Woo! Yeah, so much, isn't it? I've been learning this over the last couple of months, so hopefully you've been picking this up and it all works out for you here. So there's a couple of quick more things I wanted to show you very specifically on the campaigns I've been running here. So this is to show you how it has been working for me, okay? So my best result right here, I think, is the Mythology of Time. You'll see here I've only got 2,000 impressions, so that's not a ton of impressions. Whereas like this one has 26,000 impressions and 191 views. Well, this one only has 2,041 views. But the important thing to remember here is this: earned views, okay? Earned views is very important, because what earned views are is people clicking on the first video, watching it, and then clicking on a second video and watching that as well. So that means you've engaged a new customer probably, and hopefully also a new subscriber, all right? So the more you have earned views attached to your videos, the better. Yes, the Anxiety of Herbs has 192 views, but it only has one earned view, okay? That's a very horrible ratio. The Mythology of Time, 41 views, 10 earned views. That's that's a 25% earned view ratio. That's incredible. That's an incredible number. So it means I am running the perfect video campaign right now for that. Yes, it's not being seen a lot over these last couple weeks. This is just from the 8th of September to today, okay? So it's just over 2 weeks of running that ad. And it's over those 2 weeks I've gotten 41 views. But for me, being a small channel, an extra 41 views, if I'm running this every month and say I repeat those numbers every 2 weeks, that's 80 views per month. And then, 10 months, that's another 800 views. And probably over that time, if the numbers remain high, my watch time remains high, and I'm getting lots of earned views, that means Google is much more likely to pick that video up and then actually suggest that video to other people without me having to pay for it, which is the end-all be-all of what you want for your YouTube channel. You want YouTube to be like, here, glorious people, I am going to show it for you because I am benevolent and I love your video. Here, watch this wonderful Mythology of Time video, everyone. Here, here. And then you get lots of wonderful viewers just out of the nowhere because of the blessings of YouTube. And let me show you just how important that is. I'm going to go back here into my studio real quick. I'm going to my analytics here. And for the last 28 days, what's my #1 video? The benefits and uses of Shades Tea. How much is it in the lead? Twice as many views as the next closest video. And that is because it is one of my suggested videos to YouTube. All right? You get to see just how important that is right there. That is the nutshell of just how important it is to have Google suggest your video. And the next one is also suggested by YouTube, I think. And but also it's ranked #1 for aniseed and star anise. So if you type in aniseed in the search engine over here, I believe what will show up is my video. Boom, right there. See? Booyah! And that's why I get tons of views as well. Because people see that right off the top and they're like, oh, that's different from this guy in a blue shirt and this guy in a blue shirt. And they go right to me. Okay. So, I got a question here. What's our question? So in the Garden of the Blessing says, so running all of your playlist does not go good for you only by hitting the end card? So what do you mean? What do you mean by that? If someone runs one of your playlists, or you mean if someone clicks on one of your end cards? What are you saying specifically there in the Garden of Blessings? I'm not sure I understand the question yet. Let me know. Let me know specifically, because I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, all this is involved with running YouTube videos and helping to be successful. And as much as it's important to do all the other analytics and stuff to engage other channels and to, create a YouTube community, if you really want to push yourself to an upper level, running Google Ads is an excellent way to do it. And that's why I've started doing it, is I wanted to just try and start pushing my channel to another level. So, in the Garden of the Blessings now says, by only going to the video you said. Yeah, by only going to the video I said, the hope is that, yes, they click on it, and then they would get to the end of the video, and then either at the end of the video, they click on one of my end cards here, like you're just saying, and they watch that, or these pop up, and then they click on another one of my videos there, okay? As you can see, I've been watching lots of Patriot Act recently. So that's what the whole point of that is that you would show up there. The suggested videos I mentioned up are this stuff right here, or usually it'll be up here. My video analytics is up there, so I'm going to close that. So usually it'll be like this one that shows up next. So if you have your autoplay on here, then your video, if it's the next suggested video, will automatically play next. And that's one of the end-all be-all of what you would hope for a suggested video from YouTube, is to be that suggested video up next and get extra views just because people have the autoplay on, and then boom, you get shown. Okay? But as you can see, because I'm on my own channel, it's suggesting a lot of my own videos. And my live right here. Oh, I could go to my live. Go watch my live. And make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Right. So, back to this. So, but yeah, like I said here, it's the idea beyond running the Google Ads is to still try and keep your watch time up as high as possible. But you can see on most of my videos, watch time 48%, 43%, 35%, 42%, 41%, 33%. A lot of them are really high. Even the Spearmint video, which is like 16 minutes, is 33%. The ones that are lower are these ones that I read the bad ads on. Okay, so I ran a bad ad on History of Mint. I ran a bad ad on some other videos. The Top Herbs for Anxiety also got a bad ad run on it. And it's still at 25% because it's still, within the last 28 days, has the first release videos, which had it at around 45 to 50% of watch time. So my watch time is still okay, but not fabulous now because the bad ad really lowered my numbers. So what are you saying now in the Garden and Blessings? Okay, then automatic is what I wondered if Play All is in a playlist. Yeah. Yeah, you can have a Play All playlist, but if you're trying to avoid that, you just turn the autoplay off on there, yeah. But yeah, is the main thing, is controlling your cost per view and controlling your impressions and views enough that when you're spending that budget, it's just going specifically to those videos you want it to be played at. So if I click on Mythology of Time, I can now look at my placements here. And in my placements, where the ad's shown, you'll see that the impressions actually are going to the channels I want it to go to. So you can see the impressions here are all based around these specific channels. So this one, I ran a specific channel ad. So you can see M.I. Gardener, Self-Sufficient Me, Epic Gardening, lots of very specific gardening channels that I showed it on only, all right? Because I figured that'd be gardening channels is obviously a good place. These guys all run videos about herbs, so I figured they'd all be a good place for me. Herbal Jedi, obviously a great channel for running herb videos on because he is an herb Jedi. Man, the guy knows tons about herbs. So that is where your ad's been shown. Specifically, if you can go into where ad's shown, and it'll say all the channels it's been shown. So not only those ones, but then there's some other ones, Holistic Habits, Moso Gourmet, Imperial Sugar. So some other places that it showed it as well. And you'll see on some of them that they got some impressions with no views, which is fine. But again, it's like I don't worry so much about the view rate. Obviously, that can help if you have a really good view rate on a channel. You may want to go, okay, I'm going to spend a little bit more on this one because I'm getting a much better view rate by people going to the organic gardening channel. So it's more specifics you can do. The more specific you can be, the better. And that's the beauty of Google Ads and running Google Ads, okay? If you want to just run a very, very specific one and go, okay, let me bring up another one of mine here, the History of Rosemary. I think I've done a placement for a video on this one. Okay, so if you want, you can essentially do this. Right now, the History of Rosemary, I just started this one, so it doesn't have any views or impressions yet. But you can say, I'm only going to run this ad on specific videos. So this video, these are all just videos about rosemary and the magic of rosemary. So if I'm running the Mythology of Rosemary, me running a video on other videos that are actually based around myths of rosemary is the perfect place for me to be showing it. So I can specifically just go, okay, I'm going to find these videos that have good views to them already, because it's kind of pointless for me to go, I'm going to show my video on a video that has 98 views. It's not going to get seen still. If I want to go to one of these that goes, I think all of these have at least 10,000 views or more, 40,000 views or more, because you want to go to a video that's still getting watched and it's can continue to get traffic. So then when they see that one, then they'll automatically get your ad. Okay, but again, it's a matter of getting that cost per view up there high enough that your ad is always running on that video. So if I go to this video, I should hopefully see my ad showing up at the top of it. But if it's not, if I'm not up here, then I'm doing something wrong on the ads, because I would expect that I would be seeing my video up in this area. I wouldn't see it here on the main screen where you have this Pantene ad. That's a different type of ad than my Discovery ad, okay? So I shouldn't actually be showing up on this screen here. I should be showing up on the sidebar ad is where I should be showing up, I think. And so like you have this here, you see this garden design diploma? That's the ad that's showing up. But if, and obviously it's actually, it wouldn't be showing up for me because it's me running this. So if you guys went to this, maybe you would see my ad here, okay? So, but if you're not, that means I actually should be raising my cost per view because somebody is outbidding me right now. And they are the ones getting seen, not me. So, and the whole point is this video, which has over almost 250,000 views on it, even though it's from 2016, it means it's still been getting views, and it's from a channel that's almost 100,000 subscribers, so it has still been getting more views. And that's another thing you can use, a tool thing like TubeBuddy or vidIQ, and it can actually show you the number of views that it's gotten recently. If you have, but I think you may have to have like the paid version in order to have that show up. But so again, like I said, this is just more specifics. These are just more very specific things for you to be able to look at and see. So, whew, that's about the size of it there. I mean, yeah. You guys have any questions or anything else about this? I mean, right now, I think that covers most of it. I'm going to show you, this is just a general overview of all the ads I've run here. So you can see the history of Mint one I talked about. 679 views, but only 28 earned views. So it's still got a good amount of earned views. And if I want, but the problem is I spent $30 to get there. So basically it's $1 for every one person that watched 2 videos, which is not a good ratio. Oh, I mean, yes, it's got 679 views, but a lot of those views are under a minute. So again, not great many. The benefits of Basil's been a little bit better in that it's 582 with 13 earned views and it's only $15. But again, that's kind of what I've been basing it around a lot, is the cost per earned view. I try and get it closer to that, or just the number of views per cost is very helpful as well. Just different analytics to look at. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I was just, going on about everything I've learned from my very specific perspective of doing video ads, which is something that hasn't been covered much. And I figured I would just go off today and talk about this in particular. So, yeah. But like I said, yeah, this has been my #1 video. And since I got more specific on it, it's been really good for the number of earned views I've gotten off of it. But most of these ones that show the really big impressions are all the ones that they just went, blah, 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 blah. Here, I'm going to drop some flyers and hope the right person watches. So, okay, it's only been these ones that have the more specific impressions and views that are much better, and ones that have actually been going to the right targeted communities for me. So the whole point of that I wanted to do out of these is to just go, okay, I'm running them to very specific communities. If, hey, I'm only getting 10 to 50 views per month and not paying but, $2 to $5 per video ad campaign for it, then that's a great deal. Say I'm running, $30 a month in ads and I'm getting 150 targeted views out of that. That's high quality watch time. I think that's a really good return. And that's the whole point of it, is getting a really good return out of it, because the more good return I get out of it, the more likely my campaigns are going to drive YouTube itself to see me. And also what it's going to do is it can help drive my numbers up in the search results as well. Okay, that's just another nice thing for it. So, all right, let me jump over here and jump out of that. So yeah, guys, that's my little tutorial. Did you promote those videos on your Instagram, Facebook? So I have been doing some of that. I'm not sure if I've been getting much engagement with that. But I do that from time to time, where I'll run a couple T videos, and then I'll do one video in particular saying, hey, here's what I've run on Eccentric Nature. If you want to see the rest of it, go watch Eccentric Nature. And most of my my Instagram videos say, go watch Eccentric Nature on YouTube. Let me see here. Thanks, Food for Permaculture. Good to have you here. Nona Grace. My computer still is ill on your iPad. Oh no! Unhealthy computers are not fun. Hopefully it gets well soon. Ooh, that can be frustrating. Yep, the iPad in the evenings, lazy chair. Yeah. Agreed. But anyways, yeah. Before I go, my upcoming video this weekend is all about chicory coffee. So I talked a little bit about that on my last video, the benefits of chicory. If you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and check that one out, because it's a good companion to the one that's coming up this week and covers some of the stuff that I don't cover in my upcoming video this week. But this next one's going to be very specifically on chicory coffee, and there's some interesting history behind it. And I'm doing a live taste test on there, or well, it's recorded, but it was live when I tasted it. So, so that's on there. And then, so that's coming up this Sunday. The following Sunday is probably going to be a recorded Zoom call between me and the natural herbalist, another herbal channel that I'm going to be doing a conversation with this weekend. And I'm just going to record it, and then I'm going to put it on my channel for the following Sunday probably. So, but next week I'm going to be back to doing more shout outs and just more fun talking about herbs. So hopefully you'll join me for my next live stream next week, right around 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, London time, meaning around noon Eastern time, which is why Nona's able to be here, I think, because it's only about 8 a.m. or Pacific time and 7 a.m. Alaska time. So most of my friends back home can't really watch this live. So yeah, that's my upcoming schedule. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Love you guys. Have a great day. Take care. Bye, y'all. Have a nice day.